All right. So, session 3 of the Life Coaching Mentorship series with Heather Wilson, who is our holistic health coach and owner of Pure Wild Free. And we've been talking about helping you to get clarity on your niche. That's been your first super goal. We have another really exciting goal that we're going to be talking about tonight. Before we get into that, though, let's go ahead and start with wins and celebrations. So, Heather, what are we celebrating tonight?
Getting really clear on so I got really clear on like my audience and the women that I want to work with, and also on the program that I would want to put together, mostly the title, like the what it would be about. Yeah, and I've been really improving my communication this week, I would say, with myself and with others.
So it sounds like you feel like you've got another level of clarity around your audience. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
So I want to work with women with health issues, like chronic health issues, mostly. So like the main factor that came up for me throughout my healing journey is what I pieced together this past year was Epstein-Barr virus was the main component in what was causing all the issues for me. And so I came across an email of a woman who specializes in EBV, that's Epstein-Barr virus for short. And like I was just reading her, doing market research on her and seeing all of the, if this is you kind of symptoms and things that the women would go through. And I noticed I experienced every single one of those things. And I'm like, okay, so this is really my niche, because this was like exactly my journey. This was exactly what I went through. And this is what I have information for others to heal. Focusing on the Epstein-Barr virus is the main reason a lot of women who are, on the healing journey are trying to get answers, like they're not getting the answers that they need because the medical system doesn't recognize the Epstein-Barr virus as an issue, or they don't understand that it's the cause of a lot of autoimmune issues. So anyway, it's like the missing piece for a lot of people that, most people aren't aware of. So yeah, so that became clear for a focal point.
Yeah, and I remember when you left me that message last week on Voxer, and you said you had found this woman who's doing all this research on the Epstein-Barr virus. And I could tell your voice was just lit up, and you were like, "Oh my gosh, this is it." So it was cool to hear you have that breakthrough.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really good reminder, because I was like, oh yeah, it's right in front of my face the whole time, what I need to focus on, what my like strength is in, like what I have the deepest understanding in, of course. So it was just like one of those, oh my gosh, how did I not see that already? So yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see how you're going to pull this into your program that we're going to talk about, and your marketing and all the other things, because I'm not super familiar. Even though I was a nurse for 5 years, I'm not super familiar with the Epstein-Barr virus. So, you'll have to educate me a little bit and help me understand how this is going to play into the bigger picture of the number one problem that you solve.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And then you said that you're improving your communication with self and others. So I'm curious, tell me a little bit more. What does that mean?
I've just been getting really clear and aware of how I've been speaking to myself, and also like hold space for uncomfortable conversations, like with my partner and with other people. And, I had one experience where I was able to not attack, but actually just listen and allow that person to be heard, not go into defense about it, and not like internalize it or take it personally. It definitely hurt, what I had heard, but I was able to pull myself back instead of going into attack mode. So that was huge for me, because, it's really easy to be triggered and to like become defensive. And I've gotten into a pattern of that recently. So it was really nice to be able to take a step back and pause and like feel the pain of the words and know that I'm okay, and like hold myself and be there for myself. And yeah, it was really powerful experience. So
that sounds really powerful. And how does that come into play? How do you think that'll benefit your coaching business?
well, it'll help me to allow others, that maybe go into that same pattern, maybe help them to just show them another way of being, responding. And it also just teaches them how to sit with their feelings, and feel and know and trust and know that they're okay, that it's okay to be with pain. It's okay to be with the hurt. It's okay to be with the anger, instead of trying to make it go away or shutting it off or rejecting it.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's like I can be a space for this anger right now.
Yeah.
So just kind of sharing those tools, and yeah, it could help a whole lot.
Yeah. Oh, it's such important work that you're doing. A lot of times the work that we do in our personal life, it'll greatly benefit us in the way that we run our business and how we communicate and hold space for our clients as well. So I always like to say that when you work on you, you're working on your business too. So I like that, you're practicing these communication skills so that way you can have good communication skills with your clients too.
Yeah,
Really
absolutely.
awesome.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, great work, Heather. And let's go into your commitments that you created last week. So I'm going to pull up our Microsoft To-Do app here and look at what we have. Okay. So you purchased the In the Flow book, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just as a reminder for anyone watching, Heather and I were talking about her doing some market research on cycle syncing, which is something I'm doing in my life as well. And it's really cool about how, the way you take care of yourself, the things that you eat, what you do in your business, you sync it up with the different phases of your hormone cycle over the course of 28 days. And it greatly improves your health. And there's actually research that says it's a big cause of what can cause chronic immune issues if you're not listening to your body and listening to your hormones. So I'm glad that you bought that book, In the Flow. If anyone watching wants to check it out, you should totally look into it. It's actually something I'm going to have all my private one-on-one clients start doing as well while they're working on their coaching business, is learning how to cycle their body, their life, and their business to their cycle, which I think is so important. And then you said you were going to record one video. Was this a video for your YouTube channel?
It was just for social media. I ended up just doing one for my Instagram and Facebook. So yeah.
Okay. Perfect. What was the video about?
Well, I was originally going to film about fats and just why my journey through removing fats from my diet over the past year, but what came out ended up being just like me checking, like a check-in with people out there, just asking. It was kind of like a well-being check-in, like how are you doing right now, how are things in your life, and just opening up a space for people to, like a container for people to speak to that, like share their feelings if they want to, and or private message me if they want to go deeper or feel more safe, because sometimes it's hard to be like seen online sharing your feelings. It's not always, it doesn't feel as safe for some people. So I offered to talk to me in private message if they just needed some support or needed someone to talk to. So it was just kind of like this maternal energy like came through and was like, actually, this is what needs to be said right now. And I'm like, okay. So I kind of like moved over and let that come through. And it was that nurturer side of me that just like needed to open up and yeah.
Yeah, I love that you let the spirit move through you to help you to create your content. I do that as well. A lot of times, right? Like I'll close my eyes, one hand on my heart and belly, and I'll say, okay, what do I need to talk about today? What do my people need to hear most? Right? I think that's where the most beautiful content ideas come from. So I love that you did that as well, showed up for your audience. And then it sounds like you had a call to action as well as to, private message you for more support, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Because that's actually one of the things that I see is missing a lot of times with new life coaches is they get really good at showing up and creating that consistent content, whether it's, through podcast episode or blog or Facebook Live, YouTube video, but there's not that call to action afterwards, right? And it's so important to let people know what's the next step to take after watching this video, because they don't know. We literally have to tell them. So it sounds like for you, that's right, like private message you. And then from there, as you're talking to them in private messenger, you can always, kind of see what they're asking for. And then you can always ask, to get on a free call with them to continue supporting them,
Right.
and then building that relationship. And then from there, that can, turn into a potential sales call.
Right, exactly. You never know where the conversation's going to go, so it's so important to open up and do those call to action. Yeah, that's something I've learned too. Is like, because if you have this amazing post and it's like really moving people and like you really connected emotionally with your audience, but then they don't have anywhere to take that to, like or anywhere to like dive deeper into you and your work and what you're doing and all of that, then it just kind of gets lost in the scrolling, and and then they forget about it. So it's good to like have somewhere to take that while the energy's built and connected.
Absolutely. Another thing was, you said go to the gym 4 times, and we talked about that was feeling a little bit too much. And so you said you're actually going to reduce that, going to the gym twice a week, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And it just felt like, yeah.
Yeah, and just to, let our audience know, like, it's totally okay to switch up your goals. If at the end of the week, if you're saying like, I wasn't able to get all that done, then it's okay to make it smaller. It's okay to make it more achievable. So we don't get into that all or nothing story. We don't want to say like, oh, I didn't go to the gym 4 times, so I may as well just not go to the gym anymore because I'm a failure, I'm a loser, I suck, right? Like, it's so easy to go into that all or nothing story. And that's the worst thing we can do. So then we say, okay, 4 times felt like a little bit too much. What feels more manageable, more reasonable with my energy and my schedule right now? And so we decide 2 is better. You can always do more, right? But as long as you're hitting 2, it'll make you feel good that you hit your goal.
Yeah. Right. And then it'll be more encouraging to go for more, like to shoot for the stars instead of like having such a high goal to start with, and then just like beating myself up whenever I don't meet that. So so that feels better for me.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, well, let's go into your coaching request for the day. So I'm going to pull up your session prep form here. All right, you said, I'd love to talk more about creating a course for my program or creating my program, and success for you would be walking away with clarity around your program and course. So does that still feel good for us to focus on today, Heather?
Yeah, I think that would be good to dive into. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so how about you just do a brain dump, and I will take notes about, just kind of all the ideas you've had around your one-to-one program so far.
So it'd be a 3-month, so like a 90-day program, 12 weeks, whichever number feels good. 1 call weekly, and then I would have Voxer support. I would also provide nutritional support, so dietary things, helping people to remove problem maker foods from their diet and implementing new things, and just helping with that. So cleaning up the diet, because that's a huge part in healing from chronic illness. So kind of being able to pinpoint what's going on in their diet and helping them make those shifts. So there will be like recipes that I would offer, probably like weekly recipes. So the course is going to be there so that they can have a deeper understanding of the body, anatomy, diet, chronic illness, the Epstein-Barr virus. So this is going to be like the science and the all of the other stuff that's like so much information to try to fit into a session. So it's going to be the education of what they're going through, what they're experiencing, and giving them a deeper understanding, and also teaching them about different foods and the healing powers of that, different supplements and things like that. So that'll be the education point that they can watch during the week in their own time. And then we'll have our coaching session where we dive deep into, what worked for them and what didn't work for them.
That's great. Okay, let me repeat back what I'm hearing. So 3-month program, or 90 days, 12 weeks, whatever you decide to call it. There will be weekly coaching calls. Are the coaching calls going to be 60 minutes in length?
Yeah, they'll be 60 minutes.
Okay, so weekly 60-minute calls. You'll have Voxer support for in between, like accountability and spot coaching. And then you'll do the nutritional support. You'll give weekly recipes. And then you're going to also have like this course that they'll do every week with like modules or lessons. And then on the coaching calls, you will implement the material, you'll talk about the material, coach around it. Does that sound correct?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
like eventually I see having like a group, a group for support, but I'm not sure if I'll have that right away, but that's definitely something I would like to have is a support group.
Okay. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. You can turn that very much into, a group program.
Yeah.
And okay. So great. So what still feels like it's missing for you?
I don't know. I don't have anything coming up right now. But I'm open to suggestions if anything's coming through for you.
Okay. Yeah. There's a couple things. The first is, so when you say nutritional support, well, and I'm going to play the devil's advocate here, and because someone might ask you this on a sales call too, is like, how would you say that you're different from like a dietitian?
From personal experience with dietitians, I don't think that they understand what diet a person dealing with chronic disease actually needs, because they still include, sugars and fats that are unhealthy, and proteins that aren't really healthy. And so um, I guess they go by the food pyramid, which I don't really vibe with, because there's still dairy. It's like all the problem foods are still included in the like what dietitians would recommend. Like my diet's really focused on trying to cook your own food more, like really like taking out processed foods and kind of making it more, back to the basics type of thing. So yeah, so I guess I understand the way that food interacts in the body, and I understand what foods can be triggering for some, and well, for most, and others that can be triggering for some. I understand how certain foods affect the symptoms or cause the symptoms of certain illnesses. Um, and so I can pinpoint, like that's another thing I would have is like I would have them do like a 3 to 7 day log of their probably just a 3 day log of what they eat, so a dietary log. So then I can look at what they're eating, so then I can go in and pinpoint and see exactly what the issues in the diet are, what foods are causing the issues in there. And especially like somebody who's made a lot of changes and they've had some healing, but they're just not able to get over that hurdle, I can go in and be like, okay, this is, caffeine is still in your diet. That's definitely, what's keeping you from reaching your highest level. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Great. And is it okay if I add some advice into there as well on top of what you just said?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so right, it's really important for us as coaches to make sure that we stay in our lane as coaches and that we're not trying to show up as medical providers, which, a nutritionist is. And so, right, like a dietitian, nutritionist, what they would do is they would like prescribe meal plans. They would say, you need to eat this, don't eat that. And they could also, they would say something like, this can help you to cure this or fix this condition. We cannot do that. We cannot use that language, right? So as coaches, we can share recipes, we can share meal ideas, we can say this is what worked for us, but we are not allowed to tell someone you can or can't eat this, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just really important. It sounds like you already have a really good idea and concept of this, just a reminder to make sure that, you're, if someone gives you a food log and then you're looking at the things and like you said, you see caffeine and, you could say like, just so you know, a lot of times caffeine is something that could be problematic when you have this type of chronic illness, but you're not saying you have to eliminate caffeine from your diet. Like you literally cannot, tell them to do something like that. They would have to make those decisions on their own based off like the information that you're sharing with them.
Right.
And then
I would more.
And then you can always write, like if there is a dietitian that you've worked with or that you like or trust, you could always, if you feel like they would need more additional support, you could always refer them out as well.
Yeah, that's definitely an area that's challenging for me because I have a ton of information and education on diet and all of that. So not having like a medical certification is challenging, because there is limitations in what I can say, and the language is really important. Um, so, it'd be more like, so would like just suggesting, maybe just see how it feels if you take out caffeine, if you stop having your coffee for a week or something, just see how that feels, write about it, document it. And, if you want to just go
Yeah,
ahead,
yeah.
you could try that and see if that makes you feel any better. See if document your symptoms. Do your symptoms get better? Do they get worse? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
That's good. And so what I would recommend is like, say in one of your modules, you say like, these are, some of the more problematic foods for people with chronic illness. And then they have their food log. And then you say, okay, what do you see in your food log that you think could be problematic for you? And they're looking and they're like, I think caffeine could be a problem. And then you could ask them, okay, what would you like to do about the caffeine in your diet? Right? Like it's
okay.
always your client telling them their goals, what they want to work on. And they could say, okay, you know what? I think I do want to get rid of the caffeine. Like it's been causing me headaches. I've been wanting to get rid of it for a while anyways. And so you're like, okay, great. Right. Again, you're not telling them what to do. They're the ones that are making the suggestions themselves.
Okay. Yeah. That feels better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I know it's hard. Like you said, when you have all of this knowledge, and you do, I already know that you have a vast knowledge when it comes to your own results and all the research you've done. And yeah, we just want to make sure that we are letting our clients make their own choices, and yeah, that we're not trying to overstep into a medical provider role, which is not what we do.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
I get really passionate
I know.
about it, and sometimes it's hard to separate the passion and like keep it just like, keep it from becoming like kind of forceful. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's just coaching in general. And this is, I've struggled with it. I mean, most coaches do, because our whole life we're telling people what to do, not to do. We're all really good at giving advice already, but truly being able to coach someone it's a really challenging skill set at the end of the day
Yeah.
that a lot of people don't realize. So really knowing how to do the active listening, asking the right questions, letting our client lead with their own agenda, and us not coming in and saying, do this, do that, don't do that, right? Like
Yeah.
I have to check myself as well.
Yeah.
You and I were messaging about this last week, and I was like, okay, I got to make sure, Heather, that I'm not like, talking too much or telling you to do this or not do that. And
Yeah.
that I'm really, trying to stay as much in the coach role as possible. And it's, I've been doing this for 5 years now, and even I still struggle with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, it's just that like I suffered for a long time before I got, answers, and I see so many other people out there suffering, and I think it comes from this place in my heart that I don't want others to suffer, and I have answers that can really help them shift really quickly. So I think that it's like that desire to like help people really have huge like shifts in their health, and feel better, and not have to go through all the suffering. But I have to let them lead, and because I know my intuition is what led me to everything that I learned and led me to my own healing journey. So it's a good reminder that, to ask those really powerful questions, because, their intuition is probably already telling them like, this food doesn't feel good when I eat it. I probably shouldn't eat it. So
Love that. So yeah, that's something maybe you can focus on even more than the food, is helping them develop their intuition, right? And
yeah,
letting them know, like, this is something that was really powerful for me, helping me to get through this chronic illness. So, what is your intuition telling you about your diet right now? Right? Like asking
yeah,
those questions, because right, as coaches, we treat our clients as the experts. They already have all the answer, the knowledge, the wisdom within them. So I
right.
love that, like coming from that approach, and helping them to become more in touch with their intuition.
Right. Yeah. And they so do have the answers. So yeah,
Right.
it's good to focus on that. And yeah, that feels really good.
Yeah. Okay, beautiful. How did you want to deliver the course or the what were you going to call them? Were you going to call them modules, lessons? What are you
Um,
delivering to them each week?
Modules would
Modules.
be the
Okay.
term. Yeah.
So how are you going to do it? Are you going to, sign up for like a course platform? Are you going to do it through like a Google Doc? Like, how are you going to deliver this information to them each week?
I actually have a membership with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi's program. They have a course, like a membership like a platform where you can create your course on there and deliver it
Okay.
through. So that's more for like at a cost. So I'm not sure how that would work if it's included in my program. So I'd have to look more into that. But I have that platform where you can create a course on it.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. So I do have that. So yeah, other than that, I'm not sure.
All right. So yeah, look, it sounds like then maybe, so I'm going to start to formulate and put our plan together here. So I'm going to say, look into the course platform through Tony Robbins. When did you like officially want to start inviting people into this program? And how many spots do you have open to work with you right now?
I'm not sure. I guess I feel like I still have I feel like I have a lot to create before I can invite anybody in. Like it'd be nice to have it ready in like a month from now. Would be nice.
Love that. Great.
I don't know if that's that's like too soon, but that would be a great goal to have it ready for in a month from now. And I would have 3 to 5 spots available. I'm not 100% on that number in this moment, but between 3 to 5.
Okay, so it's going to be ready by March 22nd. I 100% believe you can get it done by then. And remember, you don't have to have all the content created either. Like you can totally, a lot of times
like do it as I
this
go.
is where people get hung up and they think that they have to have like 12 weeks of content ready to go before they can start talking about the program. And you don't, like, literally you can just create the content week by week, or maybe create the first 3 weeks of content.
Okay. Yeah.
You have a lot of time to do this. I would love to see you get out there sooner rather than later, and in starting to talk about this and starting to do sales calls around this, and then versus trying to, because the more that we try to like plan in our head and get all our ducks in a row, that is going to really prevent us from getting out there and sharing our gifts with others, because the perfectionist trap will start to take over, and the imposter syndrome and all the things, and we get an inner critic. And so, it's just taking that like messy action and getting started and knowing this isn't going to be perfect the first round. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for improvement, and you just go from there. So
yeah, that's definitely good to remember. I think that sometimes I get overwhelmed at thinking I need to have it all ready now and like before I can invite anybody in it. But yeah, I also learned from, some of the top leaders in coaching that, like, I think it was Russell Brunson. He's like, I just wrote it as I went, like didn't have anything ready. And also like the people kind of help you create it as you go. Your clients help you kind of create it, because you get more clear on what kind of support they're really needing. Yeah, and it might help me create the module, like what module would be next. It's like, this is the hurdle that they're experiencing. So, this is what we need to go into next, like provide more support for that and understanding. So
yeah, I'm really glad you said that, because if you plan it all out right now, you may take it in a whole nother direction that your clients don't even need. So that's something I'm doing right now. I'm training a few private clients to become life coaches, and I'm going to eventually turn this into a group life coaching certification program. And I'm just creating the modules week by week right now based off where my clients are at with their fears, their questions, their energy. And so I'm so glad that I'm just doing it week by week with them right now, and that I didn't, try to do 6 months worth of content ahead of time before getting this ball rolling.
Definitely. It makes a lot of sense, and that feels a lot better too.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Yeah, I can just see like the relief, like
yeah.
just
Yeah, I think
releasing from your body.
yeah, I think for me, the most overwhelming and stressful part of it all is where how do like just how do I create this stuff, and like what platform do I use to create this stuff, and like the technological part is what overwhelms me, because I'm okay with simple technology, but it's like getting into this kind of stuff requires a lot of different programs, and I just like that just makes me feel really overwhelmed, because
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of practice with it. Like high school was the last, like, Microsoft Word and like Excel and all those programs are kind of like my experience with technology. But after that, I pretty much like shut down to new technology and was like, not interested, don't want to learn about it. So now I feel really just disconnected to technology and like how to actually create something using it. So
Yeah, I totally
yeah,
get it. And yeah, that's a common concern of like, okay, I'm going to be running an online program, but I'm not tech savvy. What do I do?
yeah,
So let's just start simple, easy, right? We can always get fancy, upgrade later. So what would feel really simple and easy for you to get started with right now?
writing it out on paper, and then writing it out on paper, or just writing it out on like Microsoft Word or whatever. Like writing out the bullet points and all of that. That's doable for me. Beyond that, I don't know. But that's where I could start.
I was going to suggest that. So I'm glad you said that. I'm literally doing the same thing with my
Yeah.
life coach certification program is I'm just creating a Google Doc every week. I mean, like I will show you right now. I'll do a share screen. So yeah, I created module 5 last night, leading the first coaching session. Like this is what it looks like.
Okay.
I don't have any videos right now, but right, like I have a title of the resources up here. I have a link to Google Forms where they can fill out some questions here.
Okay.
And then I just have like a couple different paragraphs. And like that's literally it. Like, it's
Yeah.
so simple and easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then here I'll show you what the questionnaire form looks like. So you can do this with Google Forms.
And you can just put videos in there too,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
whenever
you
you make
can
them.
put a link
Okay.
for your YouTube video up there. But I just have some questions based off the content here, some quiz questions, and then I have an action item at the end. So that's it.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, see?
And
Easy
what
peasy.
what what platform did you use to create the questionnaire?
Google Forms.
Okay.
So it looks like this when you go to this little thing, right? And then here's your Google Docs. Here's your Google Drive. There's Google Slides, which is PowerPoint, and then this
Okay.
one, Google Forms.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sweet.
I love Google Forms. Yeah, it's so easy. Look, you just do this. You want to create a new form, and then you just like, look, you just add in a question. Here, what's your name? Make it required. There you go. Boom, done. Yeah.
I didn't even know about that. That's cool.
And then this is where the response will get recorded, so you can see what they respond with. And yeah, easy, simple, scrappy. And then, like you said, you can get you can do the fancy stuff later on, but you just got to get
Yeah.
started.
Yeah. See, and I really want it, like, I really want everything to be professional and like legit, and, to look good and all of that. But like, I don't actually have an understanding of how to do that. Like, I can see it in my mind. I'm very visual, but like actually executing it is where that's really what I think has kept me so hung up, is like, how do I get all this out of my head and like actually create something like on the internet?
Right, right.
Yeah, that's been
So
really hard.
that's right. That's the whole point of us working together is we take this big goal now. We have this big super goal number 2, which I want you to fill out on your Google Doc and break it down. And then we will, week by week, we go through and we start, creating these little action steps to start to work towards this bigger goal of launching this group program in the next month. So you've got, me here with you the whole
Yeah.
time. And then, we're messaging on Voxer throughout the week. So you're not alone. You don't have to figure this out on your own. And we're going to
Okay.
get you there one step, one day at
Okay.
a time.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, so let's go, since we're getting near the end of our session, let's get clear on our action plan and think about, okay, so you're going to look into the course platform through Tony Robbins. What other baby steps do you want to start taking towards launching this group, I keep saying group, launching your one-to-one program?
Just start writing writing it out more in detail. I'd love to start working on the modules for the course that'll go with it.
When do you want to have module 1 done by?
I'd say in 2 weeks from now. So then maybe I can get it done ahead of time and I won't feel so much pressure.
Yeah, you can always get it done soon. I have a feeling you'll probably get it done sooner. So so March 8th. So what else would you like to commit to?
I'd like to write out my my high ticket offer, or just like my my package offer, what all is included in the package. So getting clear on that and like actually writing that out.
Write out the offer. And then are you going to have a sales page? Is this going to go on your website, a landing page? What was your plan for that?
I'd have an offer page. My partner and I have ClickFunnels. We have a membership through that. So my partner would help me create a funnel for everything ultimately. So he's very techie and can help with that kind of stuff, which is awesome. And so, so I'd have an offer page that they would be able to go to see everything through ClickFunnels, I think is where it is.
Oh, that's awesome that Jean-Paul can also help you with the tech stuff as well. So he's going to be on your team as well as I am. So that's great that you have so much support around this.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, I will get these things added to your to-do app. What's one new thing you learned about yourself in our session today?
I learned that I have a lot of support in the areas that are not my strengths.
Good.
And to utilize that.
Absolutely.
More, instead of trying to do it all on my own.
Yeah. I love that. That's a big breakthrough. That is like one of the most important things for us to remember is the support and resources that we have access to. Remember, we were talking about this you were telling me more about your life story, and I was like, wow, Heather, you're so resourceful. And you're like, well, I didn't think to look at it that way. So when we can shift into, my past mentor told me this, and she said, it's really toxic to walk around all day saying, I don't know, because that keeps us stuck. And we can say, I don't know, but I know where to find the answers. Right. And when you shift into that space, it makes anything possible to achieve moving forward. Because guess what? Most of us don't know. Most of us don't know how to start a life coaching business. Most of us don't know how to do life coaching. Most of us don't know how to make 6 figures or find clients online, right? We don't know how to do any of these things, but we have to know where to find the answers and where to get help and support. And if we can trust ourselves that we can do that, then all of this is going to be possible.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, good. I'm glad that you had that realization. And then what can I acknowledge you for today, Heather?
Vulnerability. Acknowledging an area that I need support in, because I tend to past perfectionism. I tend to want to take everything on and want to be good at everything. And that keeps me from actually getting anything done because I'm not outsourcing the areas that really are not my strengths. And so just acknowledging and admitting that is not a strength for me, and I have people who can support me in that and help me like have more understanding, for one, and being open to receiving their teachings and their wisdom. And it's okay to not have it all figured out.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. We're not going to be good at all the things with running a business at the end of the day, and we're not expected to be. And there's people out there who can do things a lot better than us, a lot quicker than us. And when we let our ego move aside and we say it's okay to ask for help in these areas that I don't feel as strong in, it helps us to be more successful in our business and with our mission. And I get it. That's a hard thing. So I love that you
Yeah.
are recognizing, okay, I don't have to be good at everything. I don't have to be perfect at everything. And I can have people help me with these areas that feel hard for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for acknowledging me.
of course. Kudos to you. Well, thank you for showing up so beautifully today, Heather. And I'm so excited to continue to support you throughout the week. And like I said, I will put all your items on the to-do list, and then we will check in on Voxer in the next couple of days.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for the session. I'll see you
You're
next time.
welcome. Bye, Heather.
Bye.